just growing up in Apex is my favorite memory. I grew up basically on Ellington Street and on Salem Street because my dad had a dry cleaners on where the Salem Street pub is now. And we were uptown all the time. And so my memories are of the people. Mr. Bennett, Mr. Benton. Mr. Benton had the grocery store right beside the dry cleaners. Mr. Bennett had the shoe store. The Beasleys had the store you could get anything from. Mr. Martin's store, my very first engagement ring came from Mr. Martin's store via Bazooka Joe bubblegum. His son proposed to me in the first grade and gave me a diamond that I wore until my finger turned green and my mother made me stop wearing it. But anyway, that never went anywhere. He went his way, I went my way. But we did go through school together. Toby and Warren, who have been so instrumental in all the history of Apex, Toby and I were in school together. He was probably the reason that I studied so hard. We were very competitive. But my grandmother's name is actually in their book. She is the teenager who rang the Catholic Church bell on Hunter Street for 25 cents a month. So my family has been here for probably since right after the Civil War. My brother and sister-in-law and I went the other day and found our great-grandparents' graves out at Salem Baptist Church. It's just, the memories are of the people here. My parents had friends who were like our second parents. When we all vacationed, we didn't leave Apex people to vacation. We all went together. We rented just about a whole block of North Myrtle Beach. And that's how we spent our summers for vacation. We just, it was like family. It wasn't like not knowing your neighbor. We knew everybody. You worked together, you went to church together, and that's my memories. Okay, I guess the two that are the most important is I was a part of the dynamic of the change in the desegregation. When I was in the 6th grade, we had two of the kids from the consolidated school, David Page and Fernzaline Davis, who came to our school and became part of our class. And while I know it had to be very difficult for them, they just became part of our class. They were us. And Fernzaline died very soon after our graduation, but David stayed a part of our class. But the year that we were seniors is the year that we voted on the new mascot, the new colors, and then the next year was total integration. So I felt like I was a part of that change, even though I was out of school once integration happened. Then I had a situation where my oldest child was diagnosed with cancer. And this town rallied around us and supported us like you wouldn't believe. We lacked for nothing. They were always there. I couldn't have made it through without my community and the people at Apex Baptist Church. That was an important memory for me because I couldn't imagine living in an area where you didn't have that support. And this was big for me. My parents, Wade and Rachel Baker, were a big part of this community. My dad, all of his life, I've got his 1939 annual. I think that was 1938 was like the first yearbook. In fact, Toby's dad is in there too, Carl Holloman. My grandmother, who I had mentioned, was the little girl that rang the Catholic Church bell, is Betty Penny Baker. And she married my grandfather, Raymond Baker, who he and his brothers built a lot of houses in this area. Most of the houses, if you see, it's a particular brick style. Pat and Tommy Stevens live in one of those houses on Mason Street. And the house right over here on the corner is one of them. They just have a particular style. And then a lot of the houses, the older houses in downtown, excuse me, downtown Apex, they built those. But that's about it. It's just home. I don't have, I've not just moved here from another state. Well, actually 12 years ago, we moved back from North Myrtle Beach. We lived there from 2000 to 2012. And we moved back, and I'm just happy as I can be right here. Our kids are here. We have one son that lives in Pennsylvania, but otherwise they're all right here around us. I grew up, I can look out my garage door and see the house that I grew up in. My roots are deep. My family is just here. And I love our town. I love the things that have come to be in our town. I lived here when there was one grocery store and one restaurant, and we had to go to Raleigh or Cary for everything else. We don't have to go out of town now. We can get on our golf cart and go to a grocery store or a restaurant. We don't have to leave the neighborhood hardly. I love that. That's home. That surrounds us with everything we need. And the people are still here. People are friendly. Most everybody gets along. Our tolerance level is like no other. I think you see other areas that people just don't seem to get along. I mean, I don't agree with everything that takes place, but I like the fact that we can agree to disagree, and that's what I like about it. Well, I have a selfish one. I hope that they fix Chatham Street out here and widen it so people don't knock our mailbox off and they don't hit each other and knock their side view mirrors off. But other than that, just, I guess, more controlled growth and our roads to be so that we can handle that growth. My husband Carl is a builder, so that's been important to us to be able to be a part of that, and I want to see more of it. I would like to see more commercial to help the tax base. I want it to be an affordable place for people to live, and I'd love to see more of the Parks and Recreation growth. I'm looking forward to the Pleasant Plains Park being open and going. That's exciting. We've been involved with the Parks and Recreation Department for years. Carl has been a recreation coach, and just to have a facility like that for the kids to play and for our town to sponsor tournaments and things to bring in tourists and money to our area, that's exciting. And I want to see the Peakway finished. I think that will help some of the traffic through town, and that's we think that's bad, but then you can go to other places and you realize it's not so bad after all. It's just, a couple of stoplights you got to sit through. It's okay, So, but I think we're heading in a good direction. What we are right now was the vision of people years ago, and we look and we see, well, they made all these mistakes, but what we're doing now is my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren's potential that they're going to live, and then they're going to look back and say, well, y'all should have done it this way. But you use the information you have at the moment, and you make the best decision you can with that information. And I think we've always done that. And I think we'll continue to do that.